Because every single person holds themselves differently, and I work a lot with body language, because that is really what a character that shows a character's life experiences. And because Dave is in the financial sector, he's a financial manager. He spends a lot of his time at his desk on a computer screen. He's very comfortable having conversations, through the phone because that's where predominantly most of his transactions would occur, which is not dissimilar to an actor. I mean, we speak a lot on the phone, going through negotiations and stuff like that.
Welcome to Survive the Shows.
Welcome everyone to this exciting interview segment here at Survivor Shows. I'm Desiree, and today we have the pleasure of sitting down with Niall Matter, star of the new Hallmark movie We Met in December. Join us as we delve into Niall's insight into his character and the challenges of filming this movie. Thank you for being here with us, Niall.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. First of all, I just need to correct my last name, Mater, Niall Mater.
Peter, okay.
Mater, yeah, yeah, long A, long A. That's right.
Okay, great. Thank you. So, talking about this movie, We Met in December. Walk me through your first reaction, please, when you read the script for We Met in December. What grabbed you immediately about the story?
So We Met in December came about actually because of a phone call from a good friend of mine, Joel Rice. Joel Rice is a producer for Muse. Muse is a production company that makes a lot of movies for Hallmark. Joel phoned me and he said, I've got the perfect script for you. I think that you're gonna love it. He told me who he had in mind for the female lead. And right away, I loved that idea because Autumn and I had a very good conversation and a great connection at the Kansas City Christmas experience together. So I read the script, and when I got through the script, I realized that this was a moment where art would be imitating life because in real life, Autumn and I met and we had this extremely intense conversation for 45 minutes to an hour about, transformation, like going through these transformations in life, and just a very deep conversation. And that kind of reminded me of what these two characters in this movie go through. So the prep work, in my opinion, was already done. So I thought, okay, I called back, I called Joel back. And this is also a Nina Weinman script, who's a really great friend of mine. This is the fifth one that I've worked on with her. I love her writing style. I love the characters that she creates. There was a bunch of boxes that were just getting checked right away. I called Joel back and I said, I love it. I think the script's fantastic. If you guys do lock Autumn down, then I'm your guy. I would love to do this movie.
And how did you approach building your character's backstory? Stuff the script didn't say, but you felt was essential for your character.
Actually, I think I just addressed that. A lot of the backstory for Dave Weeks kind of came from the backstory of what I experienced with Autumn in my personal life, because we had this conversation and then we didn't see each other again, didn't speak. It's not we weren't searching for each other. I'm very happily married, but like we had this amazing conversation and then just gone. It's just like strangers again. So that was I kind of tapped into that as part of the backstory for Dave because he meets Annie, Autumn's character, on a unexpected layover. And those situations aren't very happy. And those situations, usually you're not expecting to meet the love of your life, but luckily these two characters were open and receptive and responsive to each other, and they took the opportunity to kind of impromptu speed date, if you will. It's kind of what happens in this movie. They spend an entire day and evening together, and one character sleeps in, maybe this one, and they didn't exchange contact information. So how do they find each other? And that's the fun thing about this movie is the audience gets to go on the ride of why are they so invested, why do they need to get back to each other? Because the story is told in flashbacks a lot. So you get your present day, but then it's flashback. You see why they fell for each other as the movie unfolds. It's a really unique way of storytelling for the network, I think. I think that's what audience members are going to really enjoy about this film.
Great. And other than this meeting with Autumn, what personal or professional experiences did you draw on to inhabit this role?
Personal, professional experiences to inhabit this role. Well, Dave is I mean, I come from a really strong family background. Dave's character also has a very strong family background, and he's lost his father. I haven't lost my father personally, but I lost my grandfather. I only knew one of my grandfathers. One of my grandfathers passed away the year before I was born, and then my mom's father passed away right when I graduated from high school. But he made such an impactful change in my life. My grandfather was directly responsible for changing the course of my life, to be honest. So losing him was such a massive blow to me personally. So I used that experience and I injected that into Dave's experience with losing his father. But Dave wanted to shove that like I'm a rather emotional person and I kind of wear all that on my sleeve where Dave doesn't. Dave tries to shove it down and Dave tries to hide it and Dave tries to make everybody around him feel happy. So that was something that I had to work on because I don't shove things down. I let them come out. I think most actors are that way. So that was something I had to work on and tap into and have that underneath, but try to maintain composure throughout the movie.
Great. And was there a single scene in the movie you felt defined your character's emotional arc? Which one and why?
Which scene in the movie would define my character's emotional arc? Um, that's a good question. I think there's a scene that really clearly shows where Dave gets the message that Annie had tried to convey to him, during their brief encounter for that day. And it's with Dave's family. He keeps on trying to make everything perfect and he keeps on trying to take control of the entire situation. But then he realizes that, that's not the lesson that he should be learning here. He has to let go. And there's a scene with his family right after he, finds the perfect Christmas tree, or so he thinks. And he finally gives in. He finally gives in and just he lets everything go, and goes with the flow. So I think that would be the biggest transformation for Dave in this movie.
Great. And how did you decide on the physicality and mannerisms for your character? Were any of those choices improvised on set or fully decision back?
No, those are decisions that I make ahead of time, because every single person holds themselves differently, and I work a lot with body language, because that is really what a character that shows a character's life experiences. And because Dave is in the financial sector, he's a financial manager, he spends a lot of his time at his desk on a computer screen. He's very comfortable having conversations, through the phone because that's where predominantly most of his transactions would occur, which is not dissimilar to an actor. I mean, we speak a lot on the phone, going through negotiations and stuff like that. So there are definitely parallels. But I do not spend much time sitting down at a computer. I read a lot. I read a lot of books, but like I found myself reading my iPad more than anything because I switched to kind of the digital digital means a long time ago, as opposed to, having scripts and paper and all that. Like I went digital a long time ago, so I'm always on my iPad. But yeah, you'll see there were more moments in the original script where you got to see David work more, and that's where most of my physicality work came into play. But I think there's only one scene left in this current cut of the movie. I just saw it. Yeah, I think there's only one scene left where you see him at work. There was more of that before, but yeah, that's where my physicality for the character came from. Basically, his work environment carries out throughout the rest of his life.
Great. And did you change your vocal tone, cadence, or accent for the role? If so, why that choice?
For this one, no, I didn't. I didn't change my vocal range or my tone. There are certain roles where I do, a lot of them where I do, but I didn't do that in this situation.
Okay, great. And please describe the chemistry between your character and Autumn's character. How did you cultivate that chemistry off camera?
It's pretty easy to cultivate chemistry with Autumn Reeser, to be honest. Yeah, I mean she's a beautiful woman, super kind, super gracious, very open, so she makes the job very, very easy. And cultivating the character's chemistry with her character Annie, it happens instantaneously. They reach for the same door, their hands touch, and you can see it's an electric moment. Dave doesn't look up right away. He starts speaking right away and he offers to open the door. And then when he finally looks at her, you can tell that he's taken, first of all, by her beauty. And then as he gets to know her in the lobby, he's taken by everything. And then they get to know each other and, their sensibility. It's really fun to watch them discovering each other in their magical evening together.
Great. And was there a particularly difficult emotional moment to feel? How did you prepare for and recover from it?
Yeah, there was a couple emotional movies. Or sorry, there was a couple emotional moments while filming the movie. They actually didn't make the cut. So I'm not going to speak to those. But so what remains in the movie? Trying to think. I think most of that has been kind of, yeah, it's most of it's been taken out. Because Autumn and I tend to we can go pretty deep, the two of us. So we can really go there, and the feels bubble up quite easily with the two of us because, like I said, we have been through a lot in our lives, and I think it's the transformations that both of us have been through where we pulled from that deep well of emotion. But we don't get into it too much in this one. Autumn does. There's a beautiful scene where she's sitting on their first like official date, and she starts talking about her grandmother, and the emotions start bubbling up, and when she bubbles up, like it's like you can see you can see in our eyes everything is right there. That all just goes back to working with someone as powerful as Autumn is. Like she's just so connected and so grounded, and she pulls you in. She's telling the story, her emotions are there, so then emotionally Dave goes there too, right? And that's the thing when you're working with a great actor, such as Autumn. You just need to connect with what they're doing and listen. And all of the acting is done for you just by your reacting from listening to what that character is going through. And I give that all to Autumn. Autumn just she really took control and masterfully acted her way through a lot of these scenes.
Great. And were there any surprising script changes during production that affected your performance? How did you adapt?
Um, there weren't surprising script changes that affected my performance, but my performance was affected because I had broken toes. So they had to make script changes around the fact that I had broken toes. I broke two toes, my third and fourth toe, on the seventh day of filming. So, or on the sixth day, we still had 8 days left to film the movie. And there were scenes where I was supposed to like run out and run after her and like, but I couldn't run. As I was walking, I could feel clicking in my shoes. Like I could feel my bones moving. So they sent me for an X-ray. They confirmed they were broken. The doctors wanted to put me in a boot and all that. And I just told them I couldn't. I have to film. I'll do that later when I get home. So they had to make changes around that, unfortunately. And that was an accident that happened. It
Yeah.
happened in my hotel room. There was this beautiful live edge coffee table. I call it beautiful, but it got me. There was this one edge of it that went way down and it came out about 7 inches from the top. And I was running by it. I was trying to get ready and not be late for work. Because there was a van below that was coming to pick me up. I was running by it. I'm like straight out of the shower, running by it and smoked it. And then there I was down on the ground with broken toes. So I had to get myself ready, limping around, hobbled down, got in the van on time, by the way. I was on time. Got to work, and then I let them know. I think I have broken toes. I pulled them out, and like one of my toes was like, I have pictures of it, but it's really gnarly. It was way out over this way, and I couldn't walk on it. They brought the ambulance in, and the medics came in, and I was just begging them to set it so I could walk. And they were like, we can't set that, not until there's an X-ray, there's liability, all this stuff. And I was like, okay, well, all right, well, I'll just try to walk on it then. And then I talked the onset medic into actually grabbing it and setting it, which was hilarious because there was a bunch of cast members there and they're all filming it, right? There's film of it somewhere. I wanted to get that footage before this movie. And she did, like she called a family member, I believe, who's an RN nurse, and the RN nurse talked her through how to do it, and it was like instant relief. It was like because it hurt, pulled it and popped it, and then instantly it went back in, and I was like, oh, good. And then we taped it, iced it, and away I went, and I started filming on broken toes for the last 8 days. But yeah. So anyway, yeah, that there was no change of the script intentionally. I created change because of my clumsiness in my hotel room.
Great adventure. And so, how involved were you in shaping the character's wardrobe and the visual look? Did costume choices help you to find the character?
Costume choices absolutely do help me find the character. Costumes are very important to me. I didn't have much say on this one. I tried to, but and it's really not it's not my job. I try to be clear about my preferences and everything, but at the end of the day, it's up to the executive in charge of the movie, and whatever the executive wants is what the executive's going to get. And it's interesting in this one because I was adamant that I wanted, and I never, ever, ever want ties. I never want ties. Never want to be in a tie. But for this guy, I was adamant. I was like, he needs to be in ties. He needs because I was in a three-piece suit and then no tie. And I'm like, no, there's got to be a tie. I wanted the ties. And they didn't want the ties, and I wanted the ties. And I was like, "This is a weird fight that I'm having. I want to be okay. I guess I won't have the tie. I'll just be a tieless three-piece suit guy." So yeah, that was an interesting one. But I would have preferred to have had that the tie on. It just gives you that level of like uptight. It also like when the tie comes off, then he relaxes. It gives you to me personally as the actor playing the character it would have given me more like, oh, okay, he's loosening up, there goes the tie, the shirt's kind of unbuttoned, all that stuff, right? But I lost that one.
And how much rehearsal time did you have with your co-stars? Do you prefer more rehearsal or diving cold?
I enjoy rehearsal. I don't necessarily need rehearsal because I really love spontaneity and I love surprise. I feel like some of my best performances have come out of, just hanging on by the seat of my pants and seeing what happens. But rehearsals are great too. And Jonathan Wright, our director, he loves to get together and read through the entire script. And if there's any scenes that are kind of not working or they kind of bump any of us, we collaboratively workshop them. which is fantastic, which is so great. And Nina was with us too. So, having Nina, myself, Autumn, Jonathan, Michael Barbuto, who was our producer on this. He also works with Muse. Him and Joel Rice are they were the contacts from Muse on this one. And we were all together workshopping it. Like we put in endless hours on shaping the script and making sure that we were telling the story in a way that was, cohesive, coherent, and we couldn't miss certain beats, certain things, because if you pulled one thread, the whole thing could fall apart if it didn't lead to the other, right? So we had to be very careful with what we did change and what we added.
Great. And which scene was the most fun to shoot and which was the most exhausting and why?
Oh, which scene was the most fun to shoot? Well, that's a scene that I can't really talk about, but that you'll like. Have you seen it yet, Desiree?
No,
I haven't seen the
unfortunately
movie.
not.
Okay, you haven't seen the movie yet. Well, you'll know the scene I'm talking about when you see the scene. That, yeah, there's a scene that's very clearly was the most fun to shoot, and I think it's going to be the scene that audience members really connect to and love. It brought my wife to tears. She watched the movie with me and brought my own wife to tears. So I think that's the scene that was the most fun to shoot and will have the biggest impact. Most difficult to shoot now. Unfortunately, that's going to come to my physical limitations. Those were anytime I had to be up the ladder. Oh my gosh, up the ladder. I had to go up a ladder. It seems so simple. It seems so simple. And it's normally the simplest scene to shoot, but going up a ladder and down a ladder with broken toes is excruciating. I had no idea how much we use our tiny toes when we're going up and down ladders. But that, I think, if you see me on a ladder in the movie, just know that I was in absolute excruciating pain.
Okay. And how did location and production design influence how you played certain scenes? Any set pieces that became character shorthand?
Oh my gosh, the location and production design of this movie is fantastic. The location that we filmed at in Ottawa was the Fairmont Hotel, and it's this beautiful old castle, and it's huge. It's massive. It's right beside Parliament too, which because Ottawa is the capital of Canada, so it's right beside Parliament. There's all of this history, just a beautiful, beautiful structure, and then set design and production design. They had Christmas everywhere. It was stunning. It was jaw dropping. You walked into this beautiful hotel, and to see how ornate everything was and the Christmas decorations, it was yeah, it was something else. And then there's a scene where Autumn and I actually help one member of the hotel staff who is delightfully hilarious, by the way. In my opinion, he steals that scene. He's so good. This actor just came in and just, yeah, it's the levity needed in the movie at the time, but it leads to a decorating scene, and it had to make sense, right? Like, how do you have a decorating scene with two characters that don't work at the hotel? But it makes sense. I promise you, in the end, it makes sense, and that's really fun because you get to see them decorating the tree and learning about each other and their Christmas traditions. And it's the Christmas traditions that they talk about and the activities they do that they hope will lead them to each other. In the end, you hope that these two are going to find each other. But you don't know if it's going to happen.
Great. And how do you balance Hallmark's audience's expectation, comfort, warmth, with trying to bring nuance or surprise to a role?
I think that's the fun, right? You're trying to satisfy the Hallmark audience, but you're trying to keep them interested and surprised with each and every role you undertake. I think this one is going to remind a lot of the Hallmark audience about an incredible movie from years past with John Cusack and Kate Beckinsale called Serendipity. It does have a very similar plot. Autumn is my Kate. She'll be my Kate any day. But, like, and I'll be her Cusack in this one. But it's like it's the Hallmark spin on Serendipity, you know? And in that movie, there was just like a touch of Christmas at the beginning and at the end. This movie, it's this movie is all Christmas. Like it is all about Christmas. And it's either Christmas that's going to bring these people together, and their memory of what they talk about during the holidays, or it's not, you know? And the really great thing about this film is you see them at the same location a lot. Like they are just missing each other. You know, and these near misses are, you know, craftfully thought out and intricately shot by Jonathan in such a way that you don't expect them to be at the same location, but they are, you know. So that's I think something that's going to be really fun for the Hallmark audience to see. Is this the moment? Is this the moment they turn around and see each other? Like, do they bump into each other here? Like, he just missed her. You know, turn around. You know, that's the stuff where I think they're gonna enjoy it.
Amazing. And were there any Hallmark tropes in We Met in December that you wanted to subvert or lean into? Why?
You know what? I think we made it a mission to stay away from the Hallmark tropes. So please let me know if we didn't, because we tried our best, you know, to stay away from that. I mean, there's the dead dad, you know, I guess that's been done a lot. So that's a little bit of a Hallmark trope. There is that, you know, but at least it's not somebody giving up, you know, this incredibly high-paying professional job for running the Christmas tree farm or something like that. Like these are two um, working class professionals, you know, just trying to find love, trying to find each other. You know, they find it, and then you know, they one character sets his alarm wrong. Like, come on, this guy. Like, what was he thinking? He wasn't thinking. He was in like love bliss, I think. And that's you know, that's where this whole movie it comes out of is one simple mistake can lead to you potentially losing the opportunity to be with the love of your life.
And can you talk about a moment when a small improvisation or spontaneous choice made it into the final cut?
Ah, there's so many of those moments because like Autumn does that a lot. I do that a lot. Um, one spontaneous moment. I can't think of one off the top of my head right now. Hopefully one will come to me. It's a good question.
Okay. And what's a detail about your character that you think audiences will miss on first watch, but that you love?
Oh, what's a small detail about my character that they'll miss on the first watch, but I love? Hmm. You got some good questions. These are good questions.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know that there's something that they'll miss. I hope they catch everything about Dave. Yeah. I don't know that I don't know. That's another good question. You got me. Desiree, you're stumping me.
don't, don't worry. So, the last question about the movie. How do you hope viewers will feel after watching We Met in December? What do you want them to take away from this movie?
I just hope that viewers who are out there that haven't met the love of their life find inspiration with this movie. I hope that you know, and even people that have met the love of their life, I hope that it reminds them of their relationship. And, you know, it's just this movie for me is something that I feel I'm living in my personal life. Because the day I met my wife, I fell in love, and I'm more in love today, a decade later, than I was then, and I didn't think it was possible. And I didn't believe in love at first sight until I met my wife. I just hope it creates some believers, you know, in love at first sight, and that, you know, true love is possible. And you just in this modern day and age, you just have to pick your head up from your phone, you know, and be receptive and, you know, not bury yourself on Instagram or other platforms while you're at the airport or, like say hi to somebody. You know what I mean? You never know where that could lead. And I feel like that has just been lost. And this is kind of a throwback to simpler times, in my opinion.
So, change of subject, talking about your career in general. How does working on a Hallmark project like this compare to other genres you have done, like sci-fi, drama, and so on, in terms of creative satisfaction?
I think the thing that's most of the satisfaction in working for Hallmark comes from is that you're uplifting people. You're helping make people's day brighter. Lightening whatever load they have, whatever they're going through. They know that they can turn to the channel and feel comfort and feel connected and close to the characters that we create. We're creating happiness, and that's I early on in my career that was like lost on me. That wasn't something that I thought about. I was about like because I played pretty dark characters or the bad boy characters and unlikable characters. I played unlikable people. Because it was fun. It was just fun for me. I was just having fun. But when you realize the greater good of this medium and the greater good of reaching deep into someone's heart and soul and seeing that profound effect that these movies have and these characters have on the audience, that comes with a great amount of responsibility, and you've got to rise to that challenge and accept that challenge and try to emote joy and happiness and tell stories that are inspiring and uplifting for an audience that desperately needs it. And I didn't realize that until I went to Kansas City last year. That experience, that changed my perception of how important these movies and the series are that Hallmark actually make. Fans would instantaneously look in our eyes and just like break down and say things like you got me through losing my husband. You got me through losing my sister, my brother. It, sorry, it was really overwhelming at the time, and it still overwhelms me just talking about it. How what we do is actually in everyone's home when they're going through these things. So they turn to the channel, just to get a break from all of that. And they genuinely love our characters and they love us as people and they embrace us and they hold us and they hug us. And it's something that really changed my perception of the work that we're doing. It means a lot more to me now than it ever has before.
It's amazing. So, the last question, as usually for me, what's next for you now? Any upcoming projects you can talk about, or something you are in your future?
I'm currently working right now on a Netflix series, which I can't fully disclose, but I can say that I'm on a Netflix series which will be coming out in 2026, and I've been working on that since September, so it's been going really great. I'm very excited about that. Very grateful for the opportunity, and yeah, it's been great. I'm actually on the island right now, in a hotel room. Worked yesterday, working today, heading to set here shortly. But yeah, I'm excited about that. Recently had a big opportunity for Hallmark. It's called So What Happens When Actors Are Up for a Role. They take a bunch of us and they get us to agree to signing a long-term contract, and they test us. It's called a test deal, and they take four or five of us, and we all test or audition for the same role, right? And that just happened on Wednesday, so there was a big opportunity. So somebody will have a big announcement soon, shortly. I don't know who it's going to be. But I do know a few of the guys, and here's the tough thing about this situation. Um, Only one of us is going to get it, and we all like and love each other. I'm happy for anybody that winds up with the opportunity, right? But there's a big opportunity that's afloat right now, and the Hallmark will take their time. Michelle Vickery is back at the helm now, and she is so good at making these decisions. So, yeah, we just got to trust in her decision making, and time will tell. Hopefully, there's a big announcement soon, but I will let everyone know that I'm one of the people in the mix for a big opportunity. I will just say that much, and yeah. We'll just keep the fingers crossed. And the toes, the broken toes. Let's see if I can cross. No, I can't cross those. They're not working still.
So we are looking forward to know more about that great opportunity. Okay, great. So this is it. Make sure all of you to coach We Met in December this Thursday night on Thanksgiving Day. And thank you, Niall, to join us today.
Thank you, Desiree. It was an absolute pleasure. Have a great day.
For me too. And thank you all for watching. Bye.
Thanks for watching, everybody.